Hi friends, today's session we are going to discuss how to create a Spring Boot project. So we discussed about what is Spring Boot, what are the advantage of a Spring Boot over a Spring, all those things we discussed in our previous videos. Now in this video we will discuss how to create a Spring Boot project. So if you want to create a Spring Boot, unlike Spring, you no need to add the dependencies. You no need to create any project. You no need to add any servers to your project. So everything is ready made. Just create your Spring Boot project and you can run your Spring Boot. So that is one of the advantage. So readily available project will be there if you are using Spring Boot. But if you want to work with Spring, yes, you need to create the project, and after that you need to create the POM, means you need to create a Maven project, and after that you need to add the dependencies in the POM. And while you are adding those dependencies, you need to be careful, means you need to be careful so that there won't be a minimum minor version issues in the POM file. It means the dependencies which you have added in the POM. So, and if you are working with Spring, yes, you need to do the configurations and you need to add the server, all those things you need to take care. So that is somewhat typical condition for a developer. So if you are using Spring Boot, so all the boilerplate configurations, boilerplate code, everything is removed. So your Spring provides readily available project. So how to create a Spring Boot project? So for that, so yours, so we are having a Spring initializer. So if you go to Google, type Spring initializer, then it will goes to start.spring.io site. So let me open that. So go to here and in the Google Spring initializer. So Spring initializer. So this is a site provided by your Spring framework to create your Spring Boot project. So if you look into this, so if you type Spring initializer in the Google, and if you click that hyperlink, let's see, Spring initializer, and it will come to this. So this will internally goes to starter.spring.io. So if you click it, yes. So this is a UI provided by your Spring Boot to create a project. So from your STS IDE also we can create that. I will explain in next sessions. But now we are going to create a Spring Boot project with the Spring initializer, which was provided by your Spring framework. So, see. So if you look into this page, so here you are having different options. So project. So what type of project you want to create? So are you going to create a Maven project or a Gradle project? So now I am going to create Maven project. And your Spring Boot supports different languages like Java, Groovy. So, but we are talking about Java project. So the project which I am creating is a Maven project I am creating, and the language which I am going to use is Java. And after that, which version of Spring Boot you want to use. So what is this? So we will discuss. So now, so the stable version, so it's showing 2.4.0. So you can select this also. Previously, a few years back, your Spring is having 1.x versions also, but now everything is 2.x. Now, yeah, this is the one I have selected. Now, so here you need to provide the project specific data. Metadata means which describes about your project. So group name means package name. Dot. So provide the package name. So com.exp, and Artifactory means project name. So project name is, or else hello world. Okay, first Spring Boot demo. Demo is a project name, and this is a package name. This is my package name, and this is project name. So So now, if you go to this, so how do you want to pack your file? So I'm not using any web now, so I'm using jar. So if you look into this, so the minimum version supported by your Spring framework, Spring Boot is Java 8 or Java 11 or Java 15. So minimum version is Java 8. So I'm selecting Java 8 because in my system Java 8 is installed. So I'm using Java 8. Now, till now we have specified the project type. So Maven project, if you are creating Gradle project, yes, go for Gradle. And which language you are going to use? Java. And after that, what is the Spring version you are going to use? Means Spring Boot version you are going to use? So 2.4.0 I'm going to use. And here you need to provide your group name and artifact name and how you want to pack the your .class files. Yeah, jar. So, and after that, which version of Java you are going to use? So I'm going to use 8. So I have selected 8. If you are going to use 11 or 15, yes, you can select that. Now you need to add the dependencies. So the basic dependencies if you want to work with your Spring Boot is, so Spring Boot web you need to add. So let me type web. Here you need to specify the dependencies. So, one second. Give me 1 second. Yeah, sorry, here on web. So Spring Boot web you need to use. Yes, this is the one. Select this one. So remaining things we will discuss later. See, this dependency is added. So now, so if you want to work with your Spring Boot project, so the so Spring Boot web is the default dependency you need to select. So after that, if you want to get into database connections, if you want to use JPA, then according to that requirements, you may need to add the extra dependencies. But the minimum dependency to work with your Spring Boot is Spring Boot web. So now everything is done. Now, one second. Yeah, generate the project. So now project is generated and it will be downloaded into your local system. If I go to this, my computer, downloads, see, your project is downloaded. If I unzip it, extract here. So if you go to this, so these files are not required. Just remove these things. So these are the things not required. Remove this, and after that remove this. Now, so these are the things. So if you look into your PALM file, see, let me maximize. So this is a parent. So whatever the version you have selected, so if you look into this, so what is the version I have selected? 2.4. So that will comes into parent. So what is the use of parent? We will discuss. Let me explain about the PALM file first. So this is a PALM file we have not added manually. So your Spring Boot UI has created depending on your selections. See, this is a parent, and after that this is your project related details. So see, group ID, artifact ID, snapshot, and what is the Java version we are going to use. And after that, the minimum required dependency is Spring Boot web, Spring Boot startup web. So this is a minimum dependency you need to add to work with your Spring Boot. So this is not required, but this is if you want to work with your test, means I want to write JUnit test cases, then this is a dependency required. By default, your Spring initializer will add these things. So now, so these are the minimum dependencies to work with your Spring Boot project. So what is the use of this parent? This parent specifies your Spring Boot version. So what is the Spring Boot version you are using? So with this version only, it's going to download other dependencies. Tomorrow, if you want to add something like I want to work with database. So MySQL database I'm adding. And after that, I want to work with JPA. So JPA dependency I'm adding. So which version of JPA dependencies are MySQL jar file? If you want to work with MySQL database, so you need to add MySQL dependency. So which version of MySQL dependency will be going to download? So the versions which are compatible to this version, parent version, those jars only going to download. See, if you look into this, do you have specifying any version here in the dependency? No. But if you look into your Spring project, there you will specify the versions. So if the versions are incompatible, then you will get minimum, major, minor version issues. So this is the way your Spring is downloading the jar. So here the parent version is 2.4.0, and here I can add n number of dependencies. So you don't need to add manually, just go to here, so select the required dependencies. So those things we'll discuss in next sessions. So this is the thing. So the minimum dependencies to work with your Spring Boot. So one is a parent and other one is Spring Boot startup. So these are the minimum required dependencies. Now, now let me import this project into my STS. So this is my project. See. Let me go to here, paste. So I have pasted and I am opening my STS. So I am using STS suite 4.0. And when you are working with the Maven project, so please separate your code and workspace. Means your code should be in one place, means one folder, and your workspace will be in one. So I'm selecting this as workspace. So that is a better practice, means good practices. Now, so this is my project. So this is my STS 4.0. Now how to import the project? Just go to here, import. So it's a, if you are using Gradle project, yes, import like this. But I'm using Maven project, so existing Maven project. Next, so where is the file? Sorry. So this is the one. Or else you can browse also, no issues. So browse and do it. So now. So it is downloading the required jar files. So now it's downloaded all the required jars. So now let's see. See, this is your PAM file just before we have said. Now, if you go to your source folder, so src main.java, it will create one file. So let me increase the, okay, in next session we'll do. So I will explain about these things in next step. So this is a file this is also created by your Spring Boot initializer only, means Spring initializer only. So initial setup, everything is provided by your Spring Boot. So You no need to create a project manually. Everything is readily available. So how to create the project? Go to your Spring Initializer site and create the means specify your project requirements, and after that select the dependencies. So it will give us a readily available project. Now, see, so this is a file from where your Spring Boot starts. So if you want to run your application, so Spring Boot application, so from where the application will start from this file only. So if you look into this file, so this contains Spring Spring Boot application annotation. So it is internally contains 3 annotations. So these things we'll discuss in next session. So Spring Boot config, enable auto configurations, components tab. It's combination of 3 annotations. So from this file only, your Spring Boot application starts execution. So like if you are working with your means ordinary Java application, so your Java application starts with main method, right? So your Spring Boot also starts execution from this file only. So how to run your Spring Boot? You can right click here, run as Spring Boot application, or else here also you can right click, run as Spring Boot application. Right? So your Spring Boot application is started now, and your Spring Boot application will start at default port is 8080. So yeah, you can change your port number if required. So those things we'll discuss in next sessions. So this is a way you need to create your Spring Boot project. So creation of Spring Boot is very easy. Creation of Spring Boot project is very easy compared to Spring. So all boilerplate configurations, XML configurations, all those things are removed. And it will comes with default pom.xml, and it will comes with the Spring Boot application file also, from where your Spring Boot application execution starts. So if you look into the dependencies, see here do we are adding any servers? No. So this is the one of the advantage of Springs, right? Spring Boot awaits boilerplate configurations, readily available project. You can provide output within no time. No need to add servers. Spring Boot comes with embedded Tomcat servers, and XML configurations are removed. See, do we have any XML configurations? Files? No. Any web.xml? No. So if I want to provide any configurations, yes, here you will have application.property file. Here you need to provide all the configurations. If you want to provide something, database specific things, or I want to change my server port number, so then where you need to specify? See here, server dot, one second. If you want, yes, yes, see it will give server address, server dot port. Okay, if you want to change. So by default it's running at 8080, right? I can change it to 8081 also. So any configurations you want to provide. So where you need to provide? In application that property files. So it will give the suggestions also. SCRVER server dot address, server dot path, error, port. So like that it will give. So if you want to specify anything, so you need to provide in the application that property file. So XML configurations are removed, no boilerplate coding, no need to add any server, no need to create the project manually, readily available project, and you can provide some output with no text. If you look into this Maven dependencies, see, so all these jars are downloaded with respect to your parent. So where you specify the parent? So in the form file, you have specified the parent, right? So with respect to the parent compatible jars only, it's downloaded. So if you look into this, so your Spring Boot comes with embedded Tomcat servers. No need to add any server, right? So let's see this. See, embedded Tomcat server. How it is downloaded? 9.0.339 because with this only. This Tomcat server is compatible with the Spring parent. So with respect to your Spring parent only, it will download all the required dependencies. So no need to add any Tomcat server. Your Spring Boot will comes with embedded Tomcat servers. So this is the basic Spring Boot creation, and your Spring Boot internally uses RESTful web services implementation. So those things, what is RESTful implementation, all those things we'll discuss in next session.